Hi, this is a special Tech Talk Tuesday for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's not Tuesday, so, and the other reason is that it's not a normal Tech Talk Tuesday anyway, because it's not a publicized event that was planned ahead. This is I'm doing this to fulfill a request by Dan Schinder from Drum Talk TV to submit a lesson for his lesson week. So I decided to put this together, especially for this occasion. And the lesson I picked to do is an overview of George L. Stone's method that I learned from Joe Morello, so which I'll go into right away. So basically, it's a three tier kind of system. I mean, he uses three different levels, but also physically, he works with wrists, and then he works with arms, and then he works with fingers, and it's built one stage at a time. First, you work with your wrists, and then when you get a certain wrist proficiency, then arms are added to that, and then when you reach a certain level of acceleration, then it becomes crucial for you to start using your fingers. And that's like icing on the cake, the last thing that happens. So first we develop our wrists, and that's the foundation. Everything is built on the wrists. And then we learn to use our arms with the wrists, and then we learn to add our fingers in as well. And then it's an integration of those three elements. That's one of the threes. The other kind of three is the three levels. He uses a full stroke level, half stroke level, quarter stroke level. They're arbitrary, not exactly arbitrary, but I mean, there are many different levels, throughout the stick arc. But full stroke is really just a full range of motion for your wrists. We're talking about wrist strokes now, okay? Everything is going to be wrist strokes in the beginning. All right, and then if I do half that range, that's a half stroke, and that'd be a quarter stroke. And then he defined two types of strokes. Okay, this was just a level. And one type of stroke that he defined was a free stroke. And what a free stroke is the whole concept. His whole stroke concept is that you start at the top of the stroke, not at the bottom, and then you start the stroke and let the stroke hit the head and bring your hand back. Okay, and no resistance at all in what I'm doing, and I'm just using enough energy, and I'm just turning my whole hand with the stick. And I'm not grabbing the stick. I'm not holding on to the stick. I'm just caressing it loosely, and I'm just turning my hand. And the stick has to move because it's part of my hand. It's inside my hand. And there's a whole thing about the balance point of the stick and the center of your mass motion here, and lining up the center of the balance point of the stick with the center of your mass, so that everything's in balance and you're turning in a nice circle and that kind of stuff. For this, something else. But the free stroke definition itself means that it comes back to wherever the stroke begins. That's what free stroke means. And the full stroke really just is referring to the level of the stroke. So I could do a free stroke from any level. It's a half free stroke. Here's a quarter free stroke. All free. Okay, different kinds of frees, different levels of free. Now there's a second stroke that he defined, called a control stroke. When he wants to change levels, you have to, the reason to have these levels is to change dynamics. What happens is the higher the level, the louder the dynamic, generally speaking. Okay, so The full level gives you a loud dynamic, and the half level gives you a softer dynamic, and the quarter level gives you even a softer dynamic. So we this is the normal playing level. And if we want to play loud, we go up. If we want to play softer than normal, we go down. So the way we get up and down is called a control stroke. And I'll show you the difference between a control stroke and a free stroke. So these are free. So I'm going to play 3 free, and then I'm going to play a control. Okay? Free, 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 down. Now, I want you to notice a couple of things. First of all, there was no change in the sound. And second of all, I wound up in a different position. And that has an implication. If I'm up here, when I stop, my next stroke is going to be loud again. But if I'm down here, even though the last stroke was loud, the next stroke is not going to be loud. So I'm setting myself up to the next dynamic level from the end of the previous stroke. This is George's concept. Then there's a complementary control stroke that goes in the other direction, of course. If you're playing soft, if you want to play loud, then you got to go up. So I'll play 3 free and a control. Again, same thing. Free, 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 up. I'm going to notice 2 things. Same 2 things. No change in the sound. And the position is different now, so the next time I use a stroke, it's going to be a different sound than the last time. It's going to change the dynamic level. Okay. So, let me show you what free strokes look like. Well, when I start my day every day with full and free, first thing I do is I want to open up my range. I want to stretch my tendons and get my muscles relaxed. And I really don't want to throw it hard. I just want to hear the stick resonate. I want to get the same sound out of each stick. And I just want to turn my hands. And as I speed up, I don't want to tighten my hands up at all. I want to stay just as loose as I speed up as I was when I was playing slowly. It gets louder because the sticks are starting to move faster. Okay? I'm not worried about power. What I'm worried about is the sound of the stroke, and the evenness between hands and the control of the level to remain at the same level. The challenge is to stay up there. The tendency is to not come back completely. And then after we learn to do that, you've got to work on that for a while and learn how to move like that. And then we bring it down. And we do it at half level. You think, this adds an additional challenge, though. At the full level, the idea was to make sure you get back to the top and not stop the stick down low. And you don't have to worry about setting up by going back. Most people like to set up when they hit a stroke like that. You can't do that from here. It eliminates that setup. You don't want any setup. You just want to play the stroke straight down. Okay? But when you do it at half level, now you got an extra responsibility, but you have the headroom now to do this. So I can do this. And this is what I hear people do when I show this to them. What I want to hear is this. Straight down, back. Straight down, back. So that's what I want to hear. Okay. And then we have to learn how to control that. And stay relaxed. And speed that up. Okay. So now we have 2 levels to work with. We have a full level and we have a half level. So and it's loud sound, and a soft sound. Right? So now if we want to play an accent, all an accent is to change the dynamic level suddenly. In both directions. It's suddenly loud, suddenly soft. And that's called an accent. So if I play one hand here, and the other hand here, I'm going to get an accent in my right hand, and I'm going to get a regular normal tap on my left hand. I'm not throwing this. I'm not using power. It's just the height of the stick, which translates into the speed of the trajectory. Because it's got twice the distance to go through, so it has to go twice as fast as the half stroke. It's going to be twice as loud. I can just shift levels. I get the opposite effect. So that's really how we accent. I'm not squeezing the stick. I'm not squeezing my muscles. I'm not doing anything. We're just changing my level and playing just as relaxed on the accent from here as I am playing the taps from here. Right? But I'm using controls in freeze. I'll just show you this one. Okay. It's just I need a downstroke for the accent, then I need an upstroke to set up the next accent, then a tap, and then a downstroke, and then an upstroke, and then a tap, and then a down, up, tap, down, up, tap. Okay, and then you could do that with a power. You could do that with every accent pattern. Any accent pattern can be broken down this way. Paradiddle is a down, then an up, and then two taps. And down and up, and then two taps. Yeah, that's it. I'm not using my arms. I'm using just wrist motion and levels. And that's George Stone. And when we get comfortable with that, then we can talk about using our arms. And there's a couple of ways to use our arms. There's a couple of fulcrums we can use. We can use a full arm motion, starting back at the shoulder fulcrum. I can use partial arm movements by starting at the elbow fulcrum. I can decrease my mass by transferring some of the responsibility from my wrist to my fingers that have a smaller muscle group, so I can go in either direction. I can add mass, I can decrease mass, I add power by height, I can decrease height and take power away. That's it. Stick control is basically a free stroke book. You learn to do stick control at the two levels. Actually, the third level is used for grace notes, so the flam section is the only section of the book where it uses two levels. Everything else is a single level. Exercise and then accents and rebounds is where he starts mixing the levels by using control strokes to get it up and down. And that's really where he starts bringing both of them together, mixing the two, mixing the full level and the half level, and then it gets really complicated when you start accenting flams, because then you're working with three levels with the flams, like the flamacue, for instance. Going down for the flam, and then you have I got my regular taps here. I got my flam down here, and I got the accent on the E up here. I'm using three levels on a flamacue. Okay, I don't want to get too deep into this. I can do another, 4 days. So we'll just leave it at this for now. And I invite you, please, to join me on my Tech Talks. And you can ask me questions. And on the Tech Talk Tuesdays is a once a week master class that I do. And you can request a specific lesson that you'd like to see. I take requests for the master classes on the Tech Talk Tuesdays. And of course, my Life on Drums is a project that I am working on with Billy Martin. And we've already released 2 episodes of that, the first and second episode. And we're working on a 3rd episode now. And I want to thank Dan Schinder and Drum Talk TV for inviting me to do this. It was really very nice of Dan to extend the invitation for me to, show a little bit about what I like to teach.